Welcome, welcome. We are here today to do a special event for you. And during this time that we will be together, I'm going to share with you one of the most valuable lessons that I've ever learned, and also talk to you about what has contributed significantly to the success that we are blessed to experience on this planet, and not only mine, but others as well. And we're here to talk about one of the laws of the universe. And in the description that we set up for this particular event, we're calling it the Law of Goya. The Law of Goya. Now, I'm going to explain what that is in a little bit. But before we get to what is the Law of Goya, I want to talk to you about the importance of understanding and studying and applying the laws of the universe. Like, it is really important that you do understand these laws. Now, you are working either in harmony with the laws right now or out of harmony with the laws right now. So I'm going to share with you a short segment from a fabulous book that was written many years ago by a gentleman by the name of Raymond Hollowell. And the book is called Working with the Law. And then I'm also going to share with you a very short segment from one of my own books, but it's not something that I wrote. It's something that someone else wrote. So let's start with this particular book that I have here in my hand. It is a book by Raymond Hollowell, and it's called Working with the Law. Now, this particular book is really covering the laws of the universe. Now, there are many laws of the universe. I actually teach a class on this in our Skipping Levels program. And so in Working with the Law, some of the laws that are covered off in this particular book are the law of thinking, the law of supply, the law of attraction, the law of receiving, the law of increase, the law of compensation, the law of non-resistance, the law of forgiveness, the law of sacrifice, the law of obedience, and the law of success. So in the beginning of Working with the Law, one of the things that the author says in the very beginning, in the very first chapter, and this is why it's really important to have this understanding, is this. He says, the question uppermost in the world of thought today is whether a man has the capacity, the equipment, and the power to control his life, whether he can be what he wants to be, or whether he is a drop in the great ocean of life. Millions are affected by unemployment, poverty, and want. You know, I think about one of the things that Bob Proctor used to say, and he said this, and I want you to think about this. Most people are working their way through life hoping they'll make it safely to death. So if we think about that, of what he wants to be, what a person wants to be, you have the power, you have the potential to do anything that you desire, to create any result that you desire, but you first must accept that as an idea for you. He says, can they help it? Where we have thousands of homes broken on the rocks of matrimony, divorce, right? Can such a breach be repaired? Millions complain of sickness and disorder in countless forms. All this gives rise to the belief that we are victims of circumstance. Many people believe that. Many people are blaming circumstance. It's the economy. It's where I live. It's whatever it happens to be. They're blaming others, and they think over which they think they have no control. Such belief makes people fatalists and karmic addicts, right? We're all addictive in some way. We're addictive to our emotions as well, instead of masters and controllers of our destinies. Hence the reason why I called my business Dynamic Destinies. You see, we're at choice. I have another book on my desk here by Neville Goddard called Out of This World. You see, Neville Goddard talks about out of this world is the fourth dimension. What is the fourth dimension? That's where you're thinking of the things that you would love to create. They're not in your life right now. You have no idea how you're going to create them, but the desire is there. Can you bring it into reality? Absolutely, you can bring it into reality. Now I'm going to switch over to another book, my book, Your Destiny Switch. And in here, the foreword is written by Neale Donald Walsch, who is the author and the creator of the Conversations with God book series. And here's what Neale Donald Walsch said in the foreword for Your Destiny Switch. And the book that I'm reading from a couple of them, Working with the Law. by Raymond Hollowell is one of the books that I'm referencing. I'm going to come back to this in a second. But here's what Neil Donald Walsh said in the foreword for Your Destiny Switch. It says, it's amazing how few people understand that life was never meant to be this way. Like, it's never meant to struggle. You're never meant to struggle. And it doesn't have to be this way. Many people simply settle for finding some level of contentment with their lot in life, right? They've long ago given up on their dreams, and most people never consider the possibility that life is something they can control. But it is. It is. Here's what he said. Life is not only something you can control, it is something you are controlling every day. If the first part of that sentence is a surprise, the second one has to be a blockbuster. Both parts are true. And those 16 words can change your life. What are the 16 words? I'm going to read it to you again. Life is not only something you can control, it is something you are controlling every day. You see, you're manifesting. You're manifesting today. You're manifesting every day. Now, you may not be consciously aware of that or even aware of how you're either creating or destroying results in your life, but you are. Regardless of whether you have the awareness of it or not, you're absolutely involved in what's showing up in your life. You're playing a role in what's showing up in your life. So having said that, it would serve you to understand more about your potentiality and the power that's within you to create the desired results that you would love to be experiencing in your life. Hence the reason why it's very valuable to understand the laws of the universe. So today we had announced that we're going to be talking about the Law of Goya. And I'm going to explain what that is in a minute and explain where I even heard of this concept of the Law of Goya in the first place. But in the description, when we were talking about doing this particular event, we said it's one of the most misunderstood or unknown laws that there are. As I said, when I started this event today, there are numerous laws of the universe. There are many laws of the universe. I did a session yesterday where I talked about 20 plus laws of the universe. This book here, Working with the Law by Raymond Hollowell, which is probably one of the most well-known books that has been written about the laws of the universe, talks about a number of laws of the universe as well, and included our 12 laws of the universe. But you'll probably find all kinds of other trainings, either on YouTube or wherever, that talk about laws of the universe, the 7 spiritual laws of the universe, or 11 or 13 or 56. When I was actually preparing for a class in our Skipping Levels program to teach the laws of the universe, I found 56 laws of the universe, 56. Now, some of them are the same. Some of them are described, called something different, but described the same. And so when I was teaching our class on the laws of the universe, I just chose the ones that I believe are more important to understand and follow and get in harmony with. So what's the Law of Goya? So a number of years ago, I had a radio station, and this radio station it was called Attracting Abundance. It was all about attracting prosperity into your life. And I love that subject. I love teaching that subject. I love guiding people to create more abundance in their life. And so I had a radio show, and that's the main subject of the radio show. And one of the things that I did was I had a number of guests on my show. So either I was delivering the show or I'd have guests come on who are also experts on the subject, and we would be discussing and sharing understandings and ideas that were beneficial to our listening audience. So one day I had a guest on my show, and it's a friend, someone that I've known for many, many years, John Assaraf. And John and I both studied with Bob Proctor for a number of years. We're a couple of his longer lasting students that had been involved in the study of success. And so John Assaraf was on my radio show with me one day, and we were talking about this subject, the laws of the universe, and how to work in harmony with the laws and how to get yourself working better with the laws so that you're producing the desired results. And so while we're on the show, I asked John, I said, out of all the laws of the universe, you think about the law of supply, the law of compensation, the law of vibration, the law of cause and effect. Out of all of these laws, which one of these laws is your favorite? And he didn't hesitate. He answered like that. And he said, oh, that's easy, Peggy. It's the law of Goya. So when he said the law of Goya, Goya, I'm thinking to myself, I've studied the laws of the universe for many years, and I wasn't familiar with what the law of Goya was. I'd never heard that expression before. And so I'm thinking in my mind, before I actually speak, I'm thinking in my mind, should I ask him what it is? What is the law of Goya? Or should I just assume that that maybe listeners will know that I know what it is? And I thought, if I don't know what it is, if I'm not familiar with that particular law of the universe, I suspect many of our listeners are also not familiar with what the law of Goya is. So I said to John, I said, John, I'm not familiar with the law of Goya. Would you mind explaining it for our listeners to have greater clarity? And he said, certainly. He said, you think about, these many laws that there are, the laws of the universe, the law of supply, as I mentioned, vibration, compensation, cause and effect, etc. What's really important is to have that understanding for sure. But unless you're doing something about it, unless you're moved into action, then nothing's going to happen. So you've got to take action. So the law of Goya is the law of get off your ass. That's what the law of Goya is, get off your ass. Now, there is a law of the universe called the law of inspired action. The law of inspired action. And that's really what the law of Goya is. And that's what I wanted to talk about with you guys today. Now, I'm also going to take some questions as well. I see Sue. It's great to have you here, Sue. Sue has already asked the question, so I'm going to go to questions in a little bit. You're certainly welcome to type in your questions, and I'm going to get to the questions and address every single one of the questions for sure. But I want to explain a little bit more about what this law of Goya is, or also known as the law of inspired action. Here's how it works. When you make a decision, and a lot of people haven't even done this, by the way, when you make a decision of what you would love to have in your life, well, that's part of the process of manifesting. It's an important part of the process because you must have clarity about what it is that you'd really love, right? Now, what happens is what a lot of people do is they'll think about something they love, but they won't commit to it. They won't write it down. They won't decide that they're going to go for it because they don't know how. They're not aware of how they're going to get there. Well, the truth is you do not have to know how you're going to accomplish anything. You don't have to know how. And you very likely will not know how. You won't know how because you've never done it before. But you can manifest anything. I mean, if you think the thought, you can manifest it. You have the power within you to manifest anything that you can conceive in your mind. Okay, so you can conceive it, you can have it. The steps necessary in order to manifest the goal or the outcome into physical form is by getting connected emotionally with that outcome as if it's already in your life. And that invokes the law of vibration. Because when you're feeling as if you already have that which you desire, then you're expressing energetically through your thoughts, through your feelings, the understanding that that desire is in your life now. This is essential for success. All right. Now that is acting as if it's a pretend exercise, and it is essential for the attraction, which is vibration, because you're vibrating at a certain frequency to attract it back into your life. But here's what happens. When you have determined, like you have a specific outcome, something that you're looking to manifest in your life, and you have clarity around that, and you've committed to that goal, and you're doing the work, which means that you are feeling as if that goal has already manifested in your life, you're attracting it. It is coming to you. It absolutely is. But for you to have it, excuse me, in order for you to have that goal manifest into physical reality, you have to be consistently, persistently feeling as if it's in your life now. You've got to feel it. You got to feel it in your heart. You have to know it's there, even though there's no evidence of it, even though you may see things that are contradictory to that. Let's use an example of money, right? If you have a money goal, and it could be an earnings goal, a net worth goal, could be a revenue goal if you're a business person, whatever that is. Let's say it's a money goal. Maybe it's just a goal to have a certain amount of money in your bank account. Now, regardless of what's currently in your bank account, or regardless of what the results are, you still have to feel as if it's already there now. All right, you have to feel it. And that expresses the energy, which will draw back to you the result. How long will it take? Don't know. There's another law, and that law of is gestation. There's a law of gestation which decrees that there is a period of time that all things will, the period of time that will elapse that will manifest all things into form. That's what the law of gestation is. Okay, so here's where the law of inspired action comes from. All right, this is really important. I want you to understand it. I want you to listen, and you should be taking notes as well. When you're tapping into the law of inspired action, here's how that works. You have a goal. You're feeling as if that goal is in your life right now. You're going to get ideas. They're going to pop into your consciousness. You may just feel a feeling in your heart. You may see an email. You may hear something on a call, something that speaks to you. And it's an idea that you're thinking, and you're thinking, wow, I want to do that. I'll give you an example. Let's say that you're someone who is in a job or in a career, or maybe you don't even have a career, but you'd really like to do something meaningful in your life. You'd like to be the captain of your ship, like controlling your life, manifesting an unlimited amount of funds, and you're thinking, I'd really love to be an entrepreneur. Like we teach a couple different programs. We have a program called MSI Entrepreneur. MSI stands for Multiple Sources of Income Entrepreneur. That means we're teaching anyone that has a desire to become an entrepreneur to set up multiple sources of income or a source of income online. We can teach you how to do it. It's called MSI Entrepreneur. And you go to msientrepreneur.com and you can see the program. And essentially what's being taught in this program is what I've done. That's action, by the way. What I've done over the last several decades to create a multi-million-dollar revenue producing profitable business while I'm serving others and doing work that I deeply love. So there are a lot of people who are thinking, I'd love to do that. And so what they do is inspired action is they take action. They move forward. They say, yes, I'm going to join. I'm going to join MSI Entrepreneur because here's an example of someone who's willing to almost take you by the hand and walk you through what is necessary to create multiple sources of income. And this is frankly how many, many people in the world are earning a lot of money. And so inspired action is the result of receiving the inspiration, whether it comes to you intuitively or whether it's something you hear, it's something that gets impressed into your consciousness, if that's the way that it comes to you, and you act on it. You act on it. If I think back to well over 30 years ago, I had worked in the corporate world for many years, had a wonderful career. I was earning great money, and I got the idea to incorporate a business. And I'm in love with helping people create success in their life. I'm in love with technology. I'm in love with personal and professional development. And so I got inspired with an idea. And the idea was to incorporate a business. Now, my father was a janitor and my mother was a checkout clerk in a grocery store. And prior to that, she worked in a factory. I didn't have entrepreneurial parents. I didn't have an entrepreneurial model to necessarily follow. Plus, I hadn't been educated formally beyond high school. I barely made it through high school. But the desire was there. And what I've learned over the years is that you don't have to know how you're going to do it. You just have to connect to what does it look like, feel like, and smell like once you've created that success in your life. So I took action. And one of the first actions, inspired actions that I did was I incorporated a company name. And that's where Dynamic Destinies Inc. came from. And I just loved the name. I remember I was driving back from my parents' home, which was in Toronto. I was born and raised in Toronto, but I now live in Ottawa. And I had been down visiting my parents. And I'm driving back to Ottawa, and that's when the name of the company came to me. And I did something about it. You see, this is what a lot of people do is they get ideas and they'll get inspiration or they'll get an intuitive message that comes to them, but they do nothing. And if you do nothing, you're not working with the law of inspired action because everything that you need, everything that's requisite for the fulfillment of your desire will be drawn to you, including the ideas and the steps. And there's a quote by Martin Luther King that says, you don't have to see the whole staircase, just see the first step or take the first step. Take the first step. There's a lot of people that sit there on the sidelines, wishing, hoping, not enough. You got to move into action. Now, you may be feeling fearful. And I read a book years ago called Feel the Fear and Go for It Anyway. And that's the truth. Like, even though you may feel the fear, you may feel some trepidation, understand you're in control of that. You can turn that around. You can turn fear into faith. Now, when you do take action, when you take inspired action, what you'll discover is that the fear will disappear. The fear will disappear. You see, when people are growing, when they've made a decision that they're stretching themselves, when you've made the decision that you're going for the ultimate life that you're born to live, and you make the decision to do something you've never done before, you may be feeling fearful or some trepidation around it. That's okay. Just understand what that is the old way of being, your old conditioning, your old belief system, also known as paradigms, will attempt to pull you back. It's the way it is. So that's why it's really valuable for you to understand yourself. Very valuable for you to understand yourself and understand not only yourself and the power that you have, but how you can work in harmony with the laws of the universe so that you can produce the results easily and effortlessly and consistently as well, time and time again. You become a master at manifesting. You become a master at accomplishing all the goals that you set for yourself, because there's no limit to what you can do. No limit except the limits that you acknowledge. All right. Accept the limits that you acknowledge and the limits that are within the realm of nature. And I've said that many, many times. And what's the realm of nature? Well, if I went onto the top of the building and I thought if I could just fly, just because I think I can fly and jump off, this is not going to work very well, right? Splat right on the ground. Doesn't matter how much I think I can fly or how much I feel I can fly, I'm not going to fly. So that's the realm of nature part. Okay. So, it may sound even ridiculous, but sometimes people think that they can do anything. Now, you can do many things. Yes, absolutely can do many things. You also have to understand that it's going to take some time. Now, you will get inspired with action ideas. And if you're smart, you're going to be taking action. One of the things that I do is I'm very, very accomplishment oriented. I'm constantly taking action, always working on improvement. We're always improving our programs and our offers and how we're serving people in the world. I study every single day. I have a group of people, the members of the Club Achieve, and we're studying every single day, which I love, and our members love it as well. And if you're not a member of Club Achieve, I suggest you join immediately and get on our class that we're doing Monday through Friday, every day except holidays. And it's either me or my team. Mostly it's me that's teaching from great books. We just finished a book this morning called You Too Can Be Prosperous by Robert A. Russell. As a matter of fact, Working with the Law will be a future book. This is Raymond Hollowell that talks about the laws of the universe. This will be a book that we're also studying in Club Achieve. But why would you study? That's an inspired action. You see, you study because it gives you more knowledge. Like, if you really want to accelerate your results, do you want to accelerate your results? Let me ask you, would you love to accelerate your results? Would you like to be manifesting like that or faster than you've been in the past? Well, the way that you accelerate your results is by expanding your knowledge, your awareness, and that is accomplished through study. It's valuable to study. I study every day, and I don't study for a short period of time. I study for a long period of time, hours, every day. Why? Because it expands my awareness, expands my understanding so that I can teach more, so that I can apply more. So accomplishment mode simply means that you're focused on outcomes consistently. Every day I make a list of the 6 things that I will get done that day. Now, sometimes I'll do more than that. And sometimes it might only be 3 things that's on the list. But nonetheless, inspired action are activities that are being done or accomplished that are definitely leading to specific outcomes. So are you someone who is involved in inspired action? And if not, that's okay. You could start today. We work with a lot of people in our different programs. Skipping Levels, I've mentioned. MSI Entrepreneur, I've mentioned. Destiny Coaches is another division that we have. And what we found, and this is what I found from working with clients now in my business for about 3 decades now, is that the ones that actually get the results are the ones that move into action. Yeah, they may have the right attitude and they may set wonderful goals and stretch themselves as well. But unless you do something, you're not going to produce results. So you must be involved in taking action toward the attainment of the things that you want, and non-judgmental of yourself, right? Not judging every part of it. And you may or may not do a great job in the beginning. I think about years ago when I first started speaking, like I was very fortunate that when I was 20 years of age, I started teaching classes, and I was teaching people how to use technology, how to use word processors. This is before micros were even around. And as a matter of fact, the very first microcomputer company in our country, I was the division manager for the training division. I would not only create the training, but I would teach the training. So I've been teaching for many, many years. And I remember the first time I was 20 years of age, and I stood in front, and that was well over 40 years ago, by the way. And I stood in front of the classroom, and there were a bunch of people that were in the room. And I remember looking around the room thinking, the people that are in this room are my parents' age. But it didn't matter because I had specialized knowledge and also a desire. And I know speakers, people that are doing public speaking, or people that are now online and they're doing special video messages or whatever, they start somewhere. Everybody starts somewhere. Like I've written 20 books, and you start somewhere, and it may not be your best work in the beginning, but when you're committed, and this is important for success, when you're committed to getting better and better and better, what you're going to find is your results will get better and better and better. So you definitely want to be somebody who's not only in the study, but stay in the study, and you're following with the law of Goya, or the law of inspired action, which means you're doing something about it, right? You can't sit on the sidelines and expect to win the game. You got to get in the game, especially entrepreneurship. Like I love being an entrepreneur. I think it's the greatest career and the greatest opportunity. And you know what's great about our MSI entrepreneur program? Anybody can do it. Doesn't matter where you are. If you have internet access and you have a desire, you can get in. That's it. That's all that's required in order to create success. And I have seen people that have created phenomenal success without even being the brand or the name. So there's many different ways that you can actually create success as an entrepreneur without even being in front of a camera, if that's what you desire. However, if you do desire to be out there and making a positive difference in the world, you can do that too. But you got to move into action. It's not going to happen unless you're doing something about it. And so understand that you may feel the fear, it may feel uncomfortable, but if you become comfortable with feeling uncomfortable, what you'll discover is that you can create greater success, because there's so much more that you can do. There's so much more that you can create. There's so much more that you can enjoy. And my purpose here is to simplify it for you, to show you the way, and to just show you how powerful you are and how there's no limit to what you can do. There's no limit to what you can earn. There's no limit to what you can produce in this world. If you have the desire, you can absolutely do it, but you have to move into action. I think about my good friend and mentor, Bob Proctor, who I was very blessed to meet in January 1979. And for a number of years, I had written in my Power Life script that I was teaching with Bob, that we were sharing the stage together, that he was having me speak at all of his events. And it came to be. It was something that he would invite me to speak at his 1% club, or at his training for consultants, or at his matrix event, or at the paradigm shift event, etc. Now, I believe the reason why I was invited to that is because Bob knew that not only I understood the materials because I'm a very serious student, but also because I was an action taker. I would move into action. I'd get an idea and bam, I'd be into action, and I would be acting on it. Even if I didn't know how it was all going to happen or what all the steps were, I would move into action. And I really believe that's a huge contributor to success. And so you want to understand that, and you want to make sure that you're applying it as well. You want to be moving into action, inspired action, which will be inspired by you being in harmony with what it is that you desire to create in your life. All right. Which means you're feeling it right now. Okay. So we have a question that's already come in, and I'm going to go those questions. If you're on the call right now and you have a question for me that you would love for me to address, I would love to answer it. So you can certainly type it in the chat box, and we are very happy to address them. Okay, so here's a question from Sue. She says, do you use the Silva method to manifest best in alpha brain waves? Love that. You know, it's not just the Silva method. I understand what you're asking. And so do I use alpha, like do I go into an alpha state to visualize or to experience, to embrace my goal or goals as if they're in my life? Yes, every day. Absolutely every day. Now, I want you to think about the Power Life script. I mentioned that earlier. And just before I got on this call today, I actually re-recorded my Power Life script. Now, for those of you that don't know what it is, go to powerlifescript.com. You can find out. It is the most powerful technique to reprogram your subconscious mind. Now, the best times to listen to your Power Life script. Now, I listen to mine throughout the day, but the best times, and these are 2 times I listen to it as well, is when you're in a relaxed state just before falling into sleep, and when you wake up in the morning, just as you're still in that sleepy state. And that is the best time to listen. And that's what I do every day. So when I wake up in the morning, the practice is, it may be 5 a.m., which it was this morning, still dark outside. I just grab in the dark, I grab my headphones, I put them on, and I listen. I listen to my Power Life script, which has been recorded, and I listen to it, and it's on repeat, and it plays. Like sometimes I'll lay in bed till 6:30, an hour and a half. Now, my Power Life script is about 10 minutes long. It doesn't have to be a predetermined amount of time. Could be 3 minutes, could be 12 minutes, could be 8 minutes, whatever it is for you is what it is. And I listen to it over and over again. So because I listen to it that many times, what's happening is, because I'm in the relaxed state, because my brain is operating at what's called an alpha level, where you're not asleep, you're awake, there's a consciousness there, but you're very relaxed. It's the most impressionable time of the day. It's also a state that you can enter. It's a state that you can enter. That's why people love meditation. And meditation will invite that state as well. And then just before you go off to sleep, as you're drifting off to sleep, but you're still consciously awake because there's a pre-sleep moments that you're there, you're in a theta state, I listen to it as well. And what happens is it's getting impressed. Even if you fall asleep while you're listening to it, it's getting impressed into your subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind is really the programming. It's the powerhouse of you. It's your belief system as well. And this is how you change your beliefs. This is how you impress new beliefs that are going to support you in the accomplishment by listening over and over and over again. It's repetition. It's the repetition of it that will produce the results. Okay. So entering into an alpha state, which is a very relaxed state akin to sleep, is a very powerful thing to do. Absolutely. So I know that Silva method teaches it, but there's others that teach it as well. Many, many others. And I've studied the function of the brain, the function of the mind, how all this works, and the most impressionable time. And that is in that state, that very sleepy state that's akin to sleep. And one of my favorite authors is an author by the name of Neville Goddard. I had mentioned him at the beginning of this call. And this is something that Neville Goddard suggests as well, is that you put yourself into this sleepy state. I'll read you something that I was reading yesterday from this book that I have here on my desk. It's called Out of This World. And this is a book that we will be studying in Club Achieve. Okay. And so here's what Neville says. This is a chapter called Assumptions Become Facts. Okay. Assumptions become facts. And here's what he said. He said, our acceptance of the waking dream as physical reality wills the means to its fulfillment. You see, you accept it. When you're allowing these ideas to go into your mind, especially in that relaxed state, especially in an alpha state, it's going to make an impression, and it wills the means for its fulfillment. Hence the reason why you do not have to know how you're going to accomplish your goal. You don't have to know. That's just wonderful understanding. But here are the 3 steps that Neville suggests. Number 1, you define your objective, right? You define your objective. And then he says, definitely know what you want. You must know what you want. Okay, so you define your objective. I'd write these things down if I were you, because it's a very valuable thing for you to do. Number 2, construct an event which you believe you will encounter following the fulfillment of your desire. Something which will have the action of self-predominant, an event which implies the fulfillment of your desire. I think about Your Destiny Switch, which was my 4th book. And as I said, I've written 20 of them, or released 20 books. Your Destiny Switch was a book that I released back in 2007. I set the objective for this book to be a New York Times bestseller. Now, there's an emblem on it that says New York Times bestseller. It was a New York Times bestseller. So construct an event. What would you see? What were your book to be a New York Times bestseller? What would you see were you to earn the kind of money you would love to be earning? What would you see were you to have the kind of money that you would love to have in your bank account? Construct an event. Like, we also have a program called Manifest Your Dream Home. What would you see were you living in your dream home? You want to live there. You want to go to sleep there. You want to wake up there. You want to turn your head and you see the view that you would see. Construct an event which you believe you will encounter following the fulfillment of your desire. Something which will have the action of self-predominant, an event which implies you've fulfilled your desire. Okay, that's number 2. Number 3, immobilize the physical body. This is really what we're talking about earlier. When you're allowing to have these ideas enter into your subconscious mind through repetition, absolutely. I put it on repeat, Marianne, definitely. And I'm going to address your question in a moment, Marianne, pardon me, in a second, because it's a great question. I want to talk about that. So you mobilize the physical body, and you can do this at any time. We could wrap up this call like right here in the East Coast, here where I am in Ottawa, Ontario, Canada. It's 12:37. So we could finish this call and I could go out into my living room, lay on the sofa, and get into and immobilize my physical body, induce a state of consciousness akin to sleep. Or I could go lay on the bed, right? And get into this consciousness that is akin to sleep. So I'm relaxed, right? Then you mentally feel yourself right into the proposed action. So whatever that vision is, and this is what I did create my New York Times bestseller. This is what I did to create the success in my business. This is what I do to create the success in my personal life, how I attracted my soulmate. This is what I've done to manifest dream home after dream home after dream home and additional properties. You can use this idea to manifest anything that you want in your life. Anything that you want in your life. So you mobilize the physical body and induce a state of consciousness akin to sleep, then mentally fill yourself right into the proposed action. Imagining all the while that you are actually performing the action here and now, so that you would experience in imagination, that's your mental faculty, what you would experience in the flesh were you to now realize your goal. All right, were you to now realize your goal. Experience has convinced me, this is what he says, experience has convinced me that this is the perfect way to achieve my goal. So having said that, if this is the perfect way to achieve your goal, you do it, right? You get into the habit of doing these things. Like, I developed a habit back in the middle of the 90s of listening to my Power Life script every day. I'm in the habit of doing that. Why? Because it produces result after result after result. And it gets better and better and better. And life is meant to get better and better and better. You're meant to live an amazing life. You're meant to have everything that you desire, and you have the power within you to do it. But you got to be doing the work. That's the law of Goya, the law of inspired action. You must be moving into action. And what a lot of people do is this: they hear these ideas. Oh, first of all, what most people do is they don't even open up to the ideas. But then there's another group that hears the ideas and they're nodding their head in agreement, going, yes, this is great. Oh my goodness, brilliant. I love it. I understand it. And they do nothing. Nothing. Right? They're doing nothing with it. They've got everything that they need. They've got the ability to accomplish these things, but yet they're doing nothing. They haven't moved into action. They're not following the inspiration to move into action. But when you do, that's when magic happens in your life. That's when you start manifesting with greater and greater ease. All right. So you got to do as well. It's not just enough to study and to acquire this information and to expand your awareness. You must be moving into action as well. Okay. Kanique says, dear ma'am, I have a financial goal from last 1 year, yet sometimes I get off track. Why I get off track? Because I'm listening to Power Life Script, but why subconscious mind takes too much time to accept it. Okay. If you believe that, then that will be your result. You've got to stop accepting that as an idea. That is a blocking of the flow. You got to understand that you can accept an idea like that. Now, yes, it's going to take some time to reprogram your subconscious mind. However, if you believe it is already done, that outcome is already done. It's in your life right now. You're living it. You're breathing as if it's already done. You're feeling it in your heart, and you're genuinely doing that. Like you're feeling the gratitude of it. It's absolutely being attracted into your life. There's no other way. It knows how to work. It will be attracted into your life. It's absolutely going to happen. Surely as it's going to get dark tonight. That's what Bob Proctor used to say. Surely as it's going to get dark tonight. Now, Marie Ann had asked a question earlier about an app that can play it. We actually have a developer. I'm grabbing my phone case, but my phone's right there because I'm on Instagram right now too. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. And we have hired, or we're working with a gentleman, a wonderful gentleman, amazing gentleman from Melbourne, Australia, who has developed an app for Power Life Script. It's not done yet. We're working with him on it. We're adding more content and getting it ready, but there will be an app. However, what I do is I record my Power Life Script on my computer, and then I open it up with iTunes, and then I sync my phone. But we're going to make it even easier when this app comes out. You'll be able to do it. But if you're not using a Power Life Script, go to powerlifescript.com right now. It is the most powerful technique I've ever used to manifest anything in my life. And you're going to find that it'll definitely work for you. But the question was, do you have it on repeat? And the answer is absolutely. So I just put on my phone, on my iTunes on my phone to repeat. Now, if you don't have iTunes, if you're not like an Apple user, but you have, a different type of phone, there are apps for something called Voice Recorder. And Voice Recorder is an app that you can get on your phone. It's free. And you can simply record your life script, your Power Life Script on your phone, and then push play and have it repeat. So you could do that as well, or record it in both places, put it on your computer and put it on your phone so that you can listen to it all the time. Now, I love having mine on my phone because my phone's with me wherever I go. Also, I get in my car, the Bluetooth syncs up to my phone, and it starts to play in the automatically with my media player in my car. So definitely put it on repeat. Okay, the next question that we have is Marie Ann says, do you have any background music that you can recommend for both day and nighttime Power Life Scripts? I would like to play mine during the night instead of other meditations. Great idea, Marie Ann. I have, there's a place online where you can go get audio. And what you do is just go to Google and type in, I like using binaural beat music. And the reason why I choose binaural beat music is because it activates the left side and right side of your brain. And because of the way that it's recorded. And so in Club Achieve, which I've mentioned, in Club Achieve, there's been a number of meditations that I've created for our members. And those meditations, I use binaural beat music as background music. But you could definitely put a layer of background music in your Power Life script as well. And if you're going to use any, just go on Google and type in royalty-free music. Or if you're looking for binaural beat music, just royalty-free binaural beat music. And what you'll discover is there's a lot of these audio tracks that you can download and use for free that are available online. So I would just do a Google search for that so that you can find it and then use it. Now there's another free software program that's available for both PCs and Macs, and it's called Audacity, Audicity, Audacity. And there's a couple, I think it's called SourceForge or SoundForge, that has created this this tool. And Audacity, and this is what I've used to create the meditations for our programs for skipping levels and for Club Achieve. Yesterday, I did a recording, a meditation on prosperity for our Club Achieve members, and I used Audacity. So Audacity is a very simple to use program, and you just download it for free, as I mentioned. Then when you open it up, you can record one track, which is you speaking, and this is what Marianne can do. You record one track with you speaking, and then you can import a layer of audio and add in the binaural beat music or piano music, whatever kind of music you want to use. And then you can adjust the levels. Like if the music sounds louder than the voice, then you can make the voice louder and the music softer, and you can do some trimming. Like if your Power Life script, as an example, is longer or shorter, should be shorter than the music, then you can trim and fade out, fade in. You can fade in the music, fade out the music. And so there's a lot you can do with Audacity, and I just learned how to use it myself. And I'm not a technically inclined person, but I find it a very, very easy program to use, and can definitely help you create, as Marie Ann had asked, create wonderful audio that you could listen to. And, I had, up until today, I had two versions of my Power Life script. And I teach this as well in the program. I had a daytime version, which had lots of enthusiasm and was very bubbly and upbeat. And then I had a nighttime version, which was very quiet and low key. And what I discovered is I really liked the quiet version. And even though the emotion is definitely in there too, that I would even be listening to my nighttime version. Like I listen to it at night, listen to it in the morning, but I listen to it during the day as well. So now the version that I created is just going to be one version, and it's very soft, and there's lots of emotion in it too. But I could listen to it during the day and listen to it at night. And frankly, the more relaxed you are when you're listening to it, the better it is anyways. Okay, we have a couple more questions before we wrap up for today. And this question is, can this work for health also? Have you any experience of huge changes there, and know of anyone who has had life-changing turnaround? Hello. I was laying in a hospital bed last year, very, very, very sick. I had cancer, and I don't know whether all of you know about that or not, but absolutely it will work with health. Not only have I used it to improve my health, and I actually was at the doctor last night, total clean bill of health. Everything is magnificent. They test my blood, they test everything, and I'm in perfect health right now. And I had cancer last year all throughout my neck and in my tongue, and I went through radiation. I was so sick, I couldn't eat. I was releasing weight, and I got to a point that I was hospitalized because I was in pretty bad shape, and they had to put a stomach tube into my body, which was not a pleasant experience. And frankly, if you haven't read Savvy Wisdom 2, which is a parable, it's written as a fiction book about a girl named Sophie. If you've read this, then you know what I went through, because it's almost verbatim what I went through. But what I did was I listened to my Power Life script every day, multiple times, every single day, to see myself healthy, to see myself vibrant, to see myself feeling wonderful when I was laying in a hospital bed, not feeling so wonderful at the time. And so, yes, I've used it. Other people have used it as well to overcome what had been considered debilitating diseases or incurable diseases. We had one of our clients. Oh, thank you for saying that. Somebody wrote down that's an amazing book. Yeah, if you don't have Savvy Wisdom 1 and Savvy Wisdom 2, I know they're both behind me here on the bookshelf as well. Get them because they're very inspiring books. And what was I talking about? Oh, yes. One of our clients had a desire to get pregnant. And they actually put in their Power Life script that they had a very healthy baby and a wonderful baby. And they manifested their baby and they credit it to the Power Life script. So absolutely health for sure. In my Power Life script, I talk about how healthy I am, how vibrant I feel, how energetic I am, and all of that. And so definitely you can use it for anything, anything. All right. Great question. Thank you for asking. The next one is from Mindy. Can you give examples we can use to put into action what we know and have learned with regards to this material? For example, visualization, Power Life script, gratitude, etc. What else? Oh, that's a wonderful, wonderful question. Okay. Thank you. All right. Wonderful question. I love that Mindy's asking this question. Can you give examples of how we can use to put this into action? And the truth is, studying the books, joining Club Achieve, creating your Power Life script, listening to it, visualizing is inspired action. That's also considered inspired action for sure. So the question was, what else can you do? And here's why I love that question so much. Because there's a desire, right? Mindy is demonstrating that she's eager, that she's committed. And it says a lot about her and what her level of commitment is. But here's the answer to that question. And I want you to all really listen to this answer, okay? Because it's a very powerful understanding. It doesn't matter what you're doing, even though today we're talking about inspired action. It doesn't necessarily matter what you're doing. It's important to do these things for sure. What matters most in the manifestation of your goals and of your desires is how you are feeling. So the things that you do, whether it's gratitude or whether it's visualization, whether it's listening to your Power Life script, the understanding behind all of these tools is to invoke the emotion of your goals as if they're already done. That's the idea behind it. So as I'm reading my Power Life script, as I was doing just before we got on the call today, as I'm reading it, I'm embracing and feeling the emotions of the outcomes as if they're already done. Okay? That's the most important part of the doingness. So if the only thing that you did, and Sue had asked the question about this earlier, if the only thing that you did or do is listen to your Power Life script, and it creates the vibrational alignment. In other words, you're on that frequency of the good that you desire, whether it's in entire area, like every area of your life, or whether it's just one goal, but you're feeling it, you're attracting it. That's all you need to do, right? That can be an inspired action. Now, does that mean that you need to be doing a dozen things every day, like gratitude, affirmations, mirror work, visualization, Power Life script, meditation? No, you don't have to do any of it. If you walked around all day long and felt the sense of gratitude, knowing that your desire is already here, perfect. You're in alignment. And if you went to bed tonight and you just asked yourself that wonderful question, now that my dream is fulfilled, how do I feel? And you connect to the answer, bonus, especially if you're doing it when you're in that relaxed state. As Neville says, the state akin to sleep. You're not asleep yet. You're consciously aware. You still have the awareness, but you're embracing the feeling. And you wake up in the morning and you immediately go to that place and you're thinking about, now that my dream is fulfilled. Now, like I mentioned earlier, I grab my headphones and I put them on. Do I need to do that? No, you don't need to do anything, provided you're feeling and embracing the emotion of accomplishment. That's all you need to do. Isn't that wonderful? It is. It is wonderful. Think about those words. It is wonderful. Saying those words, it is wonderful. What does that do? It causes you or invites you, it doesn't necessarily cause because you're in control of how you feel, but it invites you to feel what? To feel good, right? To feel wonderful, filled with wonder. What a great emotional state. You feel the gratitude of knowing What you desire is already in your life now. You feel it. You feel it. You walk around. Like if I get out of this chair and I go into the kitchen, let's say to get more water, or I go outside and walk my dogs, and or I drive to the post office. I did that yesterday because we got new keys for our mailbox. Now, when I'm doing things like that, I'm usually listening to my Power Live script because I'm listening to it over and over again all day long. But if I'm just go to the kitchen to get some water or just go to the washroom, whatever, just doing something simple, then I can still be invoking that emotional state of having that which I desire, walking around with a big smile on my face. One of the things that I've noticed is when I'm driving in my car, especially if I'm alone, I'm listening to my Power Life script, and quite often I'll have a big smile on my face because it's exciting, right? I'm thrilled. I'm feeling the gratitude of knowing that these things have already manifested in my life. And I'm fairly certain that people in other cars are probably looking at me because I see people take a second take and they're like, why is she smiling? There's nobody in the car with her. Like she's got this big smile on her face. And the reason is because I'm feeling the gratitude. So feel it. Feel the gratitude. Feel that. And what you're doing also is you're building your belief system too. You're reinforcing the faith, the knowing that it is already done. Your goals are already there. Your success is absolutely guaranteed. It's guaranteed for every one of you. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. Doesn't matter what you've accomplished. Doesn't matter how much money you earn. Doesn't matter how old you are. Your success is absolutely guaranteed. You're born that way. It's like Bob Proctor wrote that wonderful book, You Were Born Rich. You were born rich. Now, some people might be a little short on money, but you're born rich. That ability for you to be rich is within all of you, but you've got to do the work. You've got to take inspired action. All right, well, we're going to call it a wrap for today. It has been absolutely our pleasure to be here to serve you. Take some inspired action today. Join us in Club Achieve. Join us in Club Achieve. We would love to have you there. It's our study group. We meet every day. We study. Now, even if the time that we're meeting is not convenient for you, that's okay, because it's not an interactive thing. I'm reading and we're studying to understand and to apply. So you can watch the replay, but every day we have a Club Achieve class. You can either get on live or you can watch the replay, depending on, not everybody who's in Club Achieve is in the same time zone that we're in. They're in different time zones all over the world. So it really works for anyone. Clubachieve.com. Thank you, Elizabeth, for asking. How do you join Club Achieve? You go to clubachieve.com. Clubachieve.com and join us, and we would love to see you in our class tomorrow morning. Thank you very much, everyone. I really appreciate you. Thank you, Roddy, for being here with me. I know Vladdy's been here as well. They're members of our team. Probably Kayla, too, has been on here, but as you know, majority of the time I didn't have my reading glasses on, so I can't see everything that's on the screen, which is probably a good thing because it may have distracted me. We'll be back again to serve you. I appreciate all of you for being here, and we look forward to seeing you again real soon. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.